Welcome to a new daily top AskReddit video. Today's topic:
what might men dislike the most if they were to become women? Obvious answer: menstruation, PCOS, childbirth. A shit ton of men who want kids now would never want kids if they were the ones expected to make and birth them. Years ago there were a couple radio VJs who did a bit where they tried one of those contraction simulators, and the one legit decided he no longer wanted kids because he didn't want to put his partner through that. The way women talk about it, having a period. And related to this, the cost of women's hygiene products. Sometimes I think about how much money I save just by being a guy. Women's hygiene products, and also makeup. Not to mention the time it takes me to get ready to go anywhere. I can take a 10-minute shower and run out the door no problem. But if a woman decides not to wear makeup, people are asking her if she's feeling well. Everyone assumes you don't know what you're fucking talking about. No matter how much you know. People, women need to have confidence. Woman does something, confidently. People, are you sure, hun? Let's just double check your work real quick. Time passes. People, why can't women just have more confidence? Question mark. I noticed something growing up with sisters. My sisters are confident and random people, both men and women, sometimes feel the need to take them down a few notches. But people don't do that to me. There's a lot of hate out there for confident women. Like that neuroscientist who got mansplained at by someone who then recommended she read her own work. https://www.upworthy.com/neuroscientist-mansplain-response-rp2. Or when a man corrects a pro-woman golfer on her golf swing. https://youtube.be/d9ddmpxs0?c=ilg7 I once went to a gay bar in a dress. While waiting at the bar for a drink, someone passed behind me and placed both hands on my hips as they did. This has never once happened to me while dressed as a dude. If you're a guy and you do this to women, femmes, cut that shot out immediately. Did he give you the obligatory, "excuse me sweetheart," as he did it? Haha. Nah far though, dudes looking for an excuse to touch you are annoying. Like the ones who go in for an ass grab during a hug. Not just annoying, but predatory. For many, it would be being treated like they treat women. There isn't even always guaranteed refuge in other women as well. The criticisms and evaluations sometimes feel so constant and relentless from all sides. Whether hot or ugly, smart or dumb, if you're a woman, someone is there to tell you why you are doing it all wrong. It's that Barbie movie monologue. Beyond frustrating. Woman doesn't try to fit beauty, fashion standards. Men and women, EW gross, why doesn't she try? Woman tries to look nice. Men and women, ugh, all women care about is looks. Removed. Or a medical one. Or a financial one. All the maintenance that is required to create that effortlessly beautiful, sexy, cute look. Implicit in your comment, but I would specify the societal expectation and pressure that we invest our time and energy in that, rather than getting shit done. I would say the removal of every scrap of goddamn body hair, or putting up with judgment if you don't. Such a pain in the ass, and thighs, and pits, and etc. 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 If my ex-husband was to be believed, periods. He said they were disgusting and complained endlessly about all the shitty stuff to do with hygiene products. Also bitterly complained about being deprived of sex for that 4 to 5 day time. I'm a very clean person, would hand wash anything bloodstained before putting it in the laundry. I used to wish he could go through it for perspective. He was married twice more that I know of. I always wondered how the next two coped. JFC, this guy sounds like a nightmare. Glad to hear that he's an ex. Being grossly invalidated or ignored for reproductive treatments during hospital visits. I'll also add to this, anything that might be ailing a woman will be dismissed as just her period. She might be pregnant, she needs to lose weight, or she's just there looking to get drugs and male attention, or just making it all up. And then if you have an actual problem with your periods, for which hormonal birth control is typically the standard of care, they put up roadblocks to obtaining the medicine you need. Infuriating that the info packet for hormonal birth control only lists the uses as preventing pregnancy. Quote, this and abortion. Men would be up in arms about abortion being accessible if they could get pregnant. Having people just walk up to me and demand my attention and then act like I'm an asshole or get mad if I don't really want to engage. When my wife is alone, she just gets approached randomly, and I've seen it happen from afar. People act like she exists just to interact with them. She's been cornered in rooms by men and felt like she can't leave, and plenty of women have had that same experience. I haven't felt trapped or cornered or have had someone make me physically uncomfortable since I was a young child, and would not ever want to feel that way again. I had a guy approach me as I was late waking to my car. He wouldn't let me go until I gave him 2 hugs and agreed to go on a date. I'm married and showed him my ring, but that was of no concern to him. Then he opened my car door for me to get in. I thought I was about to be abducted. I was noticeably scared and he was offended by that. Leaving a bar and a guy, obviously drunk, tries to talk to me and a friend. I look at him and humor, out of habit, whereas my friend doesn't even give him a second of her attention. He gets pissed, asks me why she's such a bitch. Then proceeds to get in the backseat of our car and gets offended when we scream at him to get out. Total stranger. Yes, if a guy wants your attention, there is this expectation you should just give it to him, and it's rarely a polite request. Either submit to his BS approach or you are ABTCH. Nope, this is my day and I'm deciding which people I give my energy to. As is your basic right as an existing human. I hadn't thought about it much because this simply isn't a problem I have, but the more I do the more insane it is. From basic social interactions like that to the fact people have the utter balls to legislate about an adult person's body and what medical care they do or don't have access to, even from the stance of basic choice, much less when their life is in danger, is wild and would never happen to men. The constant criticisms over every little fucking thing by complete strangers. Yeah, wouldn't miss the, you look angry, why don't you smile, after a very long day of work. Edit, I see that men say they get that as well. Didn't knew that. Why don't we just let people look angry in peace? Grin red heart. I also meant it in a way that people say it to you in a condescending or intimidating way, or in worst cases, standing in front of you and not letting you continue to do what you did until you give a smile. I've said this several places on Reddit, but when I used to work at Home Depot, the old dudes who work there would tell me to smile and I would say, "You're not my real dad. You can't tell me what to do." And that would always confuse the shit out of them. When I was about 19 and in college, there was this dude in his 50s who would go to hold the door open for me. And by that I mean he would physically block the door unless I smiled for him. How the world perceives you. If you're passionate as a man, you're hysterical as a woman. You show any temper, must be that time of the month. Even if you are a leader in your field, your opinion isn't as good as your male counterpart, because you have ovaries and not testicles. Being afraid or at least cautious when outside, by yourself, at night. Not being able to pee standing up. Being afraid at night in public is something I just do not envy at all. I really feel for women in this regard. It really sucks. I've been around Reddit for a decade or so on different various accounts. Basically, I get a new account every time I change devices. Whenever the question gets asked right here on this subreddit about what would women do if they knew they would be safe, we tend to say we would go for walks outside at night. I live in a big farmhouse on 32 acres and I can go walk around my property at night. I do take a shotgun because there's a lot of coyotes and just in case. But it's so sad that very many women can't do this. How men treat you when no other men are looking. Hell, even while other men are looking just to try to impress them. Yes. I was harassed incessantly starting at age 12 because I developed early. Gross, disgusting men, pillars of the community, fathers, grandfathers, etc. would say vile, filthy comments to me if no one was in earshot. I've always thought that 12 to 15-year-old girls are the most vulnerable to predators. 8 for me. I remember the first time a guy made sexual comments to me. I was 8, he was 17. And I was 8. Like little kid 8. Saw a picture of me then just a few days ago and flashed back to this when I realized I probably look more like 6 Yos look now. I think most of them would be shocked with the poor treatment they'd receive. Absolutely shocked. And then when they complain about said poor treatment, they would be accused of overreacting. Or being over-emotional or too sensitive. Not being taken seriously, and when you call attention to it, you're being bitchy. Being assumed to be ignorant about a subject you have expertise in. Being infantilized. Your hobbies and interests, of feminine coded, will be seen as lesser. Even when you take up a masculine hobby, you will be constantly questioned. You won't be listened to because people assume you don't have any clue what you're talking about. Your concerns will be seen as minimal, or lesser. You will be seen as nagging when you bring up a real concern. You bring it up again and again, and nothing. You will be ignored and dismissed by doctors. You'll feel very small in this world. For real, I didn't realize how much it sucks the way women still get treated differently until reading these comments and going, oh yay, that's happened to me, that too. The worst has to be having men talk to you as if they know more than you about everything, as if you're a child. I actually enjoy getting into a discussion about anything that I know about with men that do this and slowly bringing the conversation in the direction of pointing out that I know what I'm talking about. Going to the doctor, specifically in pain at the ER, or getting a procedure such as a D&C or IUD placed without pain medication. Or a cervical biopsy or laser surgery. This will only feel like a little pinch. There are no nerve endings on the cervix. You're going to feel pressure, as my doctor aggressively swiped the mucus on my cervix to try to jumpstart labor. My fucking lower half left the exam table. I was like, damn Kathy, that was not pressure. Quote, I got an IUD without any medication. It was the most painful experience of my life. Never before has pain made me shout out in agony involuntarily. I was begging for it to stop, and when it was finished I could hardly walk. I sat in the doctor's office throwing up, barely able to sit up for an hour. The agony continued for hours after. I threw up so much bile that eventually I was just throwing up and nothing was coming out. I'd take doing that again over the pill though. I couldn't deal with the side effects. I had a miscarriage and had to get a D&C last week. I almost bled out, so they put a device in my uterus to stop the bleeding. I was sobbing in pain, begging for painkillers for 4 hours before the nurse finally alerted a doctor to do an ultrasound. They then realized they fucking put the device in wrong, and I was essentially trying to give birth to that medical device for 4 hours with no pain meds, or even a bat of an eye from the nurse. Seriously, IUD without anesthetic, pain relief is just barbaric. Some of the worst pain of my life, and I have trauma from it that affects my visits to the doctor now with severe anxiety. They just want to punish us however they fucking can.